Hey YouTube, Repo Man 64. That's straight. A bunch of stuff I've gone over the past week, looking at all this stuff that we're watching. I'm going to change based on what I'm seeing. I'm going to change it from a high watch day to a high warning day. We've been watching. Never in history have we seen all of the stuff that's going on that we're seeing right now. They're actually running around town over in Russia, a certain town over there, with a loudspeaker telling everybody they need to be out of town by the 7th because of, I'm guessing, a nuclear exchange over there. Everything is ramping up to the 8th. Now, for my timeline, and I'm going to show you this when we go through it, for me, October the 31st, November the 1st is the date the flood began. However, in order to bring the Jews to jealousy, like the Bible says, there would have to be an event that happens on a date that they're watching. And according to them, and I've seen a lot of people looking at this, it doesn't fall on my calendar or my timelines anywhere. Based on, again, I can't put the moon on here because it changes each month, and I can't figure out how to apply it to the timelines. But what I'm seeing here is that it looks like God is using almost all of the timelines, and I'm going to show you that as well. They're all converging, or they have been converging, but in this area where honestly, initially I had a few items, as I go forward through this, we have the blood moon that's coming up. I found a Pentecost. I went ahead and did another Pentecost to see where it landed, and it lands tomorrow. And I believe it's almost the 6th in Israel, so technically in Israel would be the next Pentecost. And then the next Pentecost after that, which is where Mary left, or she walked to go see, was it her cousin Elizabeth? She left on January the 1st. That would also be a Pentecost, 57 days later. So I'm going to go through this and show it all to you right now. Let's get to the pictures. So, has God been telling us all along, since the beginning, the date, the 8th? This is the circuit of the sun. This is, if you were to pinpoint exactly where the sun lands at noon each day, this is the circuit that it would take. Each day it moves, and it moves in a figure 8, just like that. I thought that was incredible that it shows an 8. So we're looking at November the 8th, right? I've spoken about the prophetess Anna. She was 105 years old when this story is being told. She is 84 years since she became a widow, and 84 years in the temple praying. Her husband passed away after 7 years of marriage. And I thought that was pretty cool because Uranus has an 84-year rotation around the sun. There has never, in the history of the world that I can find, that there has been a blood moon, number one, a blood moon that falls on election day. Number two, a blood moon that falls as it is eclipsing Uranus, and this story is in the Bible talking about that 84 years and what she was doing, and that she was a widow, and that it's going to eclipse Uranus. And as it does, at the moment it's eclipsing Uranus, it changes from a blood moon to a white moon, like a birth. And I'm going to show you that here as well. It's all pretty incredible. This is what happens on that day. This is Israel time. This is 6:36 a.m. here in Eastern Standard Time until 7:36 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This comes to me from Spinebreaker. He found this, and it was, look at that. As Uranus crosses, or as the moon eclipses Uranus, it turns the moon from blood red to white, almost like us putting on our white clothes for the rapture, that we're clothed in white. Let me get rid of all this other stuff on here. There we go. As you know, I like promoting other channels. This is a very good video that I saw from Truth, Love, Light. Please go over there and subscribe. They have a lot of good content. And right now, in this time, it is a very good idea to watch as many and honestly subscribe to as many of these types of YouTubes, these smaller ones, that they might make it through this and be words of encouragement for the tribulation saint. Those guys are going to go through it. They're going to have to wash their robes white in the blood of the Lamb in order to, finally accept Jesus and go to heaven. It is a separate group. We know of two raptures for sure: the pre-tribulation rapture of the bride, and then we know of the rapture of the saints. I can't quite determine how long that is. Are the seals opened up in the first 6 days and they go? Or in those 5 months where God has shortened the time? If he hadn't shortened the time, no flesh would be saved. Is it because the Bible speaks of God supernaturally protecting Israel. It doesn't speak of God supernaturally protecting the church or the sleepy church. So I would say that perhaps the next one will be in 5 months. He'll shorten the time. Remember, he's directing his attention back to Israel for those 7 years. The 7 years of Daniel. 69 has gone by. There's 1 week left to deal with. So go subscribe to this channel. All right. I thought this was cool. The Saints Go Marching In. Or the Saints Go, when the Saints Go Marching In song, it was written by the daughter of a Methodist minister in Pennsylvania. After graduating from a seminary in 1860, she became a music teacher of the seminary of a Methodist Episcopal Church in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And she wrote this song. Everybody knows it. And when the saints go marching home. That's there's a lot of music, I think, sent to earth by God, put into the minds of people. They think they're so talented, but honestly, nobody has any talent that isn't given to us by God. This guy right here. Go subscribe to him. He's a lot of fun to watch. You've seen him on, Watch Him for That Great Day. John over there, he's been on his YouTube quite a bit. And again, we're trying to grow these YouTubes so that they make it through for the saints of the tribulation, so they have some content they can see. And all of our work that we put together, it'll make more sense to them. We're still confused. We're still trying to figure this out. But we're working on it. So here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. The Jewish people think that Cheshvan 17 is November the 11th, the day the rains began to fall, on the 17th of Cheshvan in the year 1656 from creation. So November the 11th is popping up everywhere. Everybody is seeing 11/11. Has God again been telling us? I saw it on the internet, and I heard somebody say that 11/11. Whenever you see 11/11, that means your angel is next to you. You can't see that angel, but your angel is next to you, and comforting you, and causing you to turn at the exact moment. I'm telling you, I don't look for numbers. It never happens for me. And it keeps happening here lately. And I seriously am not like trying to find them because it's not my thing. I work on timelines. I don't relate numbers like this. But lately, I will look at a clock and here's the cool thing. I'll look at a clock and it'll be 11:11. I have enough time to get my phone out, get to my camera, enlarge the camera, and take a picture before it turns 11:12. It's not like I see 11:11 at the last moment of 11:11. I see 11:11 at the very beginning of that 60 seconds because it takes me time to get that picture. And I never have, and I've taken like 10 pictures, I think. I never have taken that picture, and before I could get to take the picture, it go to 11:12. It's never happened yet. I've always marveled in that while I'm doing that, taking that picture, that it waits for me to get that picture of 11:11 before it turns to 11:12. And as soon as I take the picture, I couldn't take 2 pictures because it turned to 11:12. It's the coolest thing. I don't see numbers, and it's just the most amazing thing to me that keeps happening. We all know about this event. This is why Stan has named his channel the 1111 sign. I'm going to show you him here in a second. The earth rang like a bell. On November the 11th of the year 2018, we're in the year 2022. So just over 4 years ago. Is this relating us to the fig tree that they said not to cut down because they give it one more year? He dung it and give it one more year. Again, has God been telling us 11:11 this entire time? Has He been telling us the 8th month because of the circuit of the sun? Or I'm sorry, the October the 8th as far November the 8th. Keep doing that. November the 8th as far as the circuit of the sun as to the blood moon. It's like a countdown that's going on. Let's see. A lot of things. So I decided to Google November the 11th. What stuff happened on November the 11th? Look at this. November the 11th. It says old style. I'm not sure why November 21st. That's my birthday. And then November the 11th, old style. I'm guessing November the 11th in 1620. I'm not sure why there's a 10-day difference here. But anyway, again, it pops up that the Mayflower Compact. I think Steve over at Steve Fletcher at his channel brought this up about the Mayflower. I watch so many YouTube videos, not much else I do. I try to watch and see what people are finding out. So 11:11 again. This is Stan over at the 11:11 sign. His subscribership's growing up quite a bit. He's doing really well over there. So the Bible says when they say peace and safety, certain destruction will come upon them. Here we have peace and safety. Let's see. Between now. This is the tribute to veterans. I believe this is the end of the First World War, November the 11th, 1918. I believe, if I remember. I did a little study on this. Here's a peace agreement that is signed on, yes, November the 11th. 24 years since the previous one, peace and safety is written right in there. So ceasefire, war zone, first agreement signed between Israel and the Arabs, their peace and safety going on there. And again, that was November the 11th. I found this on Facebook. I should have taken a picture of the whole thing because I don't know who posted it. But again, November the 11th. Could November the 11th be a prophetic date? He also comes up with, I can't remember, everybody knows Revelation chapter 12.com on YouTube. He has 33,000 followers. He doesn't need my help to get more subscribers by any means. He does a really good job. I remember now, the Kaduri Shoshone. In order for Kaduri Shoshone, and he has Kism also in here, prophecies to stand, the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu has just won the election, and he won it by a landslide. They're surmising that he will put a government together very quickly. If he puts this government together like now, before the rapture, then all three of these prophecies are inaccurate. And I'd like to know how it was either Kaduri Shoshone who said that there'd be two Benjamins warring for leadership, how he knew that years before these people were even in power, before the event even took place. That prophecy part of it was correct. The next part of the prophecy is that they will build three gates will fall, and before the fourth gate is built, this rapture will occur. And one of them even admits that Jesus Christ, in fact, is the Savior. So he does a very good video on this. Go watch that video on the fact that, and again, Netanyahu won by a landslide. Him putting together a government this time is going to be a lot faster and a lot easier. Before we see that government assembled, we are supposed to be out of here. The moon, it's like a countdown. I just took a picture of the moon. Let's see. Man-Child Ministries. He does a very good job on his videos. Go watch this video, the cleansing the 4 days prior to marriage. And again, these what I'm showing you is very important that these make it through the rapture to the tribulation saints to give them help during that time. George, of course, the return of the king. He showed in the heavens all of these events that are taking place very closely together. I believe he's also looking at November the 8th as well. So, the timeline. I wanted to go here real quick. And remember, let's go over here to the left in yellow. The equinox for me is the first day of the year. I look at, and honestly, each and every single one of these is a good first day of the year. And once you have the first day of the year, you simply go over here and count. And again, this has nothing to do with the new moon each month. I can't get that on this timeline. We would simply have to walk outside ourselves and look at the new moon and begin counting if that's the way we wanted to do it. It's not possible to add to this timeline. This timeline is fixed. Once the first date is established, it is fixed throughout the year. And the only calendar that is consistent is the timeline number one. But irregardless to that, I've noticed that God is using almost all of the calendars. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But you'll see down here, the first month for us, Nisan, has 30 days in it. The second month, Iyar, has 30 days in it. Sivan has 31 days in it. It comes up to 364 days. If you'll see on the right side, Tishri is the first month for Noah. You'll see that all the way on the right. It says Noah, number one. That's his first day of the month. God has split the year into perfect 6 months, 182 days and 182 days, and there is a center day making up the 365 days. Over here to the left, again, we have the equinox, which happens every single year on March 16th, March 17th being the first day of the year. The same thing happens with the equinox, March 21st, March 20th, and then March 21st, the first day of the year. The first sliver of the moon that is spotted after the equinox, these are all legitimate timelines. I've never put down any one of these timelines because I don't know. I have favored timeline number one, but all of these timelines are viable because of there is evidences in the Bible that could lead to any one of these timelines. The Creator's calendar, they used the first full moon after the equinox. This year, that was April 17th. And then there is my second most favorite timeline, and that is the first sliver of the moon after the sun reaches Aries. This year, that happened on May 2nd. So let's go down. Let's see where we're at right now. And we are now right here on tomorrow. You see down here, Heshvan 24. Tomorrow is November the 6th. Tomorrow is Pentecost. When you count Pentecost, the Bible is very clear. Jesus, if you'll look at all these Pentecosts that I have on here, every single one of them lands on a Sunday because you start your week, it says on the Sabbath after. Jesus rises on a Sunday. Jesus rose on a Sunday. Where's he at? Oh, he's over here. Jesus rose on a Sunday morning. Okay? But you begin the count for Jesus from the time he rode in on a donkey, the triumphal entry, right up here. That was a Saturday. Whoops. That was a Saturday. But 7 days later, Jesus rises and defeats death on April the 2nd, which is a Sunday morning. But you're going to count this from his triumphal entry, and we're going to go to Shavuot. We know this is accurate because when Jesus rises, he meets Thomas in the upper room, he walks with man for 40 days, he ascends in front of everybody, and 3 days later is Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks, the date that the Holy Spirit came down to us. From that moment, Shavuot, May 22nd, it is a Sunday. You start your count on the Sabbath after, which is 7 days away, because it's Sunday and Saturday would be 7 days away. And then you add 50 days, and you go down here and you will find Pentecost on Av 1, July 17th. Do it again. It's Sunday morning, July 17th. Count on Saturday, 7 days plus add your 50 days, and you land at the Pentecost right here. This also happens to be September the 11th, which is also the date that God created time in the very beginning. This is day, I'm sorry, this is the first day of I made a mistake. Creating time was done on September the 14th. September the 11th is when he began creation. On Pentecost, we count another 57 days, and I haven't fixed this yet. I have to, because I wasn't sure where to start counting, from the Pentecost or from where Jesus, the Feast of Trumpets, because that's the beginning of the new year. I thought, do we start counting from there? But no, we start counting from the Pentecost. If you go forward, you will land on November the 6th for Pentecost. So, with all of that in mind, on November the 8th, 2 days later, we're going to have a blood moon like we've never had on an election day. As it is turned white by it eclipsing Uranus, it is an absolutely very unique day that we're going to see. And then November the 11th is the date that Noah leads the ark into a brave new world as the entire planet is washed clean of sin. The ark door is opened, and he walks out, him and his family and all of the animals, and into a brave new world. I have to unplug that thing's just dinging. There we go. So, for me, November the 11th is the day Noah left the ark. Everyone else is looking at November the 11th as the date the flood began. Again, all of these calendars are being used. I want you to go down here and notice something. On the Creator's calendar, November the 8th appears. That's pretty incredible. Look at here. On the first sliver of the moon, after the equinox, November the 11th. November the 11th hits. And all of these dates have meaning. That's the date Methuselah died. Over here, Noah leaves the ark on November the 11th. Down here, I'm not sure why I circled November the 15th, but it appears as though, look over here, the Day of Atonement, November the 11th. A lot of people are looking that we're right around the Day of Atonement. That's pretty cool that it lands on calendar number 5, which is my second favorite calendar after the first sliver of the moon after the sun reaches Aries. Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. So as you can see, all of these calendars are beginning to come into play, except for calendar number 2, the equinox. Nothing I've ever really seen lands on the equinox, but all of the other 4 calendars, there's events that land on those dates. Let me get going on here. Unexplained. Okay, so this is something I took a picture of. It was this is Eyes Open. Again, go subscribe to Eyes Open. This person has posted a picture of a blue ribbon that is crossing through the aurora borealis, which they can't explain. It shouldn't be able to happen this way, but there are so many events and so many things going on in the skies and in heaven right now that nobody can explain, and quite frankly, they're just trying to ignore them, the fact that they even exist and still going on. That's what I'm going to change it to. Instead of a high watch day, we're going to call it a warning day, high warning day. With all of the and honestly, I don't get a lot of that on my channel. I don't get a lot of mockers and scoffers. I get a few. It doesn't really bother me because I pray for them, and they appear to not be watching or even think this event's ever going to happen. And I pray for them that they make it through the tribulation. Again, that is not a litmus test for somebody who's going to believe in Jesus Christ and you're saved. You're going, whether you believe that the rapture is going to happen in a few days or 5 years from now. Just watching in here, they're watching these videos. They're trying to learn. They're trying to figure it out. So there's nothing against them. Again, I was just sitting there, took a picture of this, 11/11. It keeps happening to me. All right, I want to go through what's going on in the sky. Others do a much better job. Gefty did an amazing job of showing what's going on in the skies in this day. I think Manchild did too. I'm not sure. Again, watched so many videos. This is November the 8th at 6:36 in the morning. One of my favorite motorcycles, Kawasaki 636. It's a good bike. we have at this time, now this is Eastern Standard Time. This is not Israel time. This is Eastern Standard Time. Spinebreaker, when he posts something on here, it's actually Israel time. So you just have to do the math on that. But notice the sun and Mercury, the sun is eclipsing Mercury right there in the balances. And right there is Venus. Mercury, I believe, what was Mercury? Mercury's the messenger. So the messenger is right there with the sun, and then you have Venus in the balances right there in the center. We have Pluto. I don't know what Pluto means in the grander scheme of things. It's so far out and so cold. We surmise that it might be a picture of hell. Honestly, it's just it doesn't really play into anything. And look where it's at. It's in the white horse rider that is sent with a bow and a crown. You see that word crown, Australis, down there just below it. Corona Australis. So is this representing the white horse rider that is loose on the first seal in Sagittarius? All right. Saturn is attempting. This is where Jesus and man are back together. He's attempting to separate us. He is a picture of Satan, and this is a picture of the lamb and the fish, which is us together in Capricorn. Here we are with Neptune and Jupiter. There's not a lot of information on Neptune, but Jupiter being a symbol of Jesus with the stripes and the wound in the side right here at the rapture fish. Again, November the 8th at 6:36 in the morning. Here we have the serpent. It's not serpent. Is it a dragon? The great dragon. You have Jupiter holding back the tail of the dragon right there. And the dragon trying to devour the bride. As the bride, see it's at the mouth of the dragon. These are all telling us exactly when this event was going to happen. The moon has not eclipsed Uranus yet. Uranus is to the left of the moon currently, and as it goes forward, it will be turned white, and you see the dragon trying to devour the child. Here we have another image of the same event at the same time, November 8th, 6:36 a.m. The child is being born into the lamb to be saved. This is just another angle of it coming into Taurus. This is the moment after the blood moon, where the moon has passed over or eclipsed Uranus and now is white. It has been washed white. It is clean white at 7:36 a.m. on November the 8th. We have Mars. Though I've heard that Mars was how was it? Was it a war? I think Mars is war or something, and it's right there at the head of the door. It's a place you wouldn't want to be after the rapture occurs, is between the horns of the bull. I can tell you that. And there's another picture of Mercury in the sun and Venus right there, the messenger. And I wanted to show you this. Pluto is way out there, like completely out there. And how far, I don't even think they count it as a planet. We have 8 planets, and then we have Pluto. So I saw this. Everybody's been talking about this. The sun literally smiled at us. I mean, is that God smiling that he's about to come get his bride and he's happy? That was quite amazing when I saw that. The sun's actually smiling. That's incredible. So the Earth has been speeding up for a few years now. It's setting records. The day is not 24 hours anymore. It's actually 23 and almost exactly the right amount, like a few seconds short of the 24 hours. So I just wanted to show you all that. I wanted to warn you, not give you a high watch date. I want to warn you that this is happening. This is going down. We're about to leave. There isn't any time left. If you were ever on the fence thinking, I got time, there's no more time. Um, this has never happened before where that blood moon is washed white. Uranus is a synonym for heaven, so it's washed white as we go into heaven at the mouth of the dragon, going up into Aries. It's too perfect. It's exactly what the Bible has described. Um, they're warning everybody on the 7th to get out because of some major event. So might be the 8th. The bombs come down, we go up. There's a lot going on right now. We're going to focus on the very next date. And then we're going to focus on the next one, and then the next one, until there are no more dates and we're in heaven. We're going to keep doing this and try to figure this out. And we're going to relate it to what the Bible says. The Bible teaches all these things, and we're going to put it down and see how it plays out and look in the heavens. He gave us the sun, moon, and stars for times and seasons and signs. So it's all there. The heavens tell a story. You can read the whole story of history right there in the heavens. So go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody except the Lord in your heart. We're in the chat group. I talk with Wackadoodle Samoan, Will from Worship and Watch, Tony from the Cataclysm, Tony Early and Spinebreaker, and we're all in there brainstorming on this. And I think the consensus that we're seeing is one of the highest warning dates for this rapture. I'm warning you, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Whether we've been right or wrong 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. This is going to happen. The highest warning date I have seen, and the most incredible thing I have ever seen, is where the moon is, as it's blood red, as it's crossing over Uranus the way it is. I can't even believe that. For me, that is the rapture date, but God didn't come to me at the foot of my bed and tell me. All I get now, I say all I get, it's actually quite amazing because I don't see stuff like that, but is 11:11 all the time. Are our angels here now, right next to me? Oh, look at my shadow. My angel's standing right next to me. And is he waiting for that trumpet blast to go off to snatch me and take me up instantly? Is your angel right now standing beside you as you turn around and see 11:11? It's almost like I read in a few places that it's your angel telling you, I'm right here. I am right here. Just relax. This event is going to take place, and I'm right here, and I'm ready to take you away. Is that why this 11:11 keeps? And believe me, if you're not seeing 11:11, it's okay because I hadn't seen it. I keep hearing about it. People telling me about it. I'm like, I mean, it's not my thing, but it's not something I would discount. Gina from Gina News in the Discord. I'll put a link to the Discord in there so we can come in and we can reason together about this stuff. And maybe you have something. And I'm in there all the time, mostly in Gina News because she finds the news from around the world. Everything I'm talking to you about in the news, most of it comes from there. But I'll put a link to the Discord in there so you can go in there and see the newsroom. And if you have anything, go into my room and say, hey, look what I found, and I'll make a video about it if I can understand it. If I can't understand it, and I'm like at the lower end of the understanding spectrum, so keep that in mind. Just like, comment, share. Not even mine. Like, comment, share all those YouTubes I just showed you, and I really do believe that that's why God put us here at this time. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm not even the smartest guy in the world here trying to figure this stuff out. I'm just a guy who loves timelines and the relationship I see between what the Bible says and how it falls on this timeline. And it just blows my mind every single time I say, well, let me go to the next Pentecost. And there it lands perfectly. And my mind is blown every time this stuff comes up and jumps right off the page at me, and I'm just like, there's too many of these for it to be an accident or a coincidence. Did I show Jason Blood Church? You should go see him. I think his name's Jason Blood. I heard that. I'm not sorry, Jason. I don't really know your last name, but I think that's his last name. It's called Jason Blood Church, and he just did a very good study on the year that he believes Jesus Christ went to the cross. I show him going to the cross on March the 30th. Not every single year, but in that time on March 30th, and it never changes every single year any more than my birthday changes. It changes the day of the week. It never stops being the exact same day every single year. I think Mary, sorry, that's Spanish. I think Mary conceived on December 25th. I don't think God would allow us to celebrate a pagan day all this time. Everybody says that, but my God's bigger than Satan. And we've been celebrating the day that Mary conceived. We have been. And she walked for 7 days to go see Elizabeth, her cousin, who at that moment when she got there was 6 months pregnant. She was 7 days pregnant. Mary was 7 days pregnant. Elizabeth was 6 months pregnant at that moment when she arrived. And that's, guess what? A Pentecost. It lands on it. I can't make that happen. It just does. And so all this stuff, the rapture occurs on the 8th, all of this work, just tons and tons and tons of work and goofy timelines and everything that I've been putting together, my Bible highlighted, will be here for anyone to come in here and just, it's laid out perfectly for them, leaving behind a simple note saying, don't believe what they're saying. Tell them that we were raptured, because that's where we are. We are in heaven, and we're here right now waiting. And you see the story of John. You see the story. He's there, and there's an elder, and that's us. We're the elders. We might not be the elder that's talking to him, but we are the elder that's in heaven. And we're saying, John, who are these people? Who are these people? Where'd they come from? That have watched and then John says, I don't know who they are. You should know. You're like from here. I don't know, because John, remember, was taken into the future 2,000 years to see this event, so he could write Revelation, and nothing's impossible with God. So there he goes, 2,000 years in the future. He writes all this stuff down, and John's like, I don't know. You should know. You're like an elder. I don't know. And so the elder says, oh, these are those that have washed their robes white in the blood of the Lamb. I had, again, surmised that each seal represented a day, and that on the seventh day, the tribulation saints would go, because how much time do you really need if you're a believer? And I know what you're saying, that all believers are going, and I agree with that. But there are so many of those that are in these mega churches, the understandings that they have. I've worked, I've done this, I've done that, I've donated all my money to this mega pastor, and he's a billionaire now, but I gave my money, so I'm going to heaven. Did you know the Catholic Church back in the time of Martin Luther was literally selling, they were selling a space in heaven for an amount of money? If you brought an amount of money to them, they would write a bill back to you on a piece of paper saying, you've secured your place in heaven. Those are the people I'm talking about. They love the Lord. They just don't quite understand what grace is and what salvation is. They think they can work for it. And those are the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people who've accepted that I'm completely wretched, I don't deserve heaven, and there's nothing I can do to get there. I can't donate anything to getting myself in the good graces of God. The only one that I want God to see when he sees me when I get there, otherwise I would burn up and my head would hang in shame for the things I have done in my life. The only thing I want him to see is the covering of Jesus on me. Just like Jacob and Esau, Jacob put a covering on his arms. His father couldn't see. He touched him. He knew that he believed he was touching Esau. Esau, it was his birthright. It was his right. But Jacob stole it. He took it. In this story, that's us. We're taking something that we don't deserve. Just like Barabbas, up there. He was up there with Jesus. Not one word from Barabbas in the entire Bible. You won't find a single word out of the mouth of Barabbas as Jesus takes his place. Barabbas deserved to be on that cross. Jesus did not deserve to be on that cross. He took Barabbas' place. Not a peep out of Barabbas' mouth. We did nothing for our salvation. Nothing. But in the tribulation, they will have to ask, They will have to pray, God, forgive me for all of my works and all of the stuff I thought that I knew. And they will be as the thief on the cross and ask, please remember me. And Jesus will say, today you will be with me in paradise. That's the difference. And I try to relate that, and everybody's like, we're all going. No, we're not. Not those who worked for it. They're not going. The people who are going are the ones who've completely surrendered. The people who are upset about that concept are the saints of the tribulation. It's okay. They will be a great multitude that no one can count. We're countable. The Bible tells us that we are countable, but they are an uncountable number. They're a huge number that no man can count. Anyway, good news. I pray that we go any moment now, any moment now, up until 6:36 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, when the blood moon begins to turn, and it takes it 1 hour to turn from blood to white, and that on the 11th is when the first seal or tribulation begins. That's what I'm looking at. Those are my high warning days. Today, tomorrow, the next day, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th. I'm warning that this chain of events is about to take off. It's all the stage is set. It's all ready to go. So, Repo Man 64, like, comment, and share. If you enjoyed that positivity, I just have to tell you the way it is. I have to tell you the truth. I can't sugarcoat this and tell you that you're all going to be okay, because we're not all going to be okay. Some of us are going to be absolutely shocked. We're going to be crying. We're going to be knocking on that door. Didn't I prophesy in your name? Didn't I say that I loved you? Didn't I tithe my money? They're going to come with their works, and they're going to be knocking on that door. God's going to say, depart from me, for I knew you not. Knew being a word of intimacy. When your child comes to you and they have messed up, and I've raised 6 of them, and they're crying and their heads down and they're just beating themselves up over something stupid they did, and they're crying, your heart breaks. You know it does. You can't be as angry as at the child who hid the fact that they did something wrong and walked around accepting all your niceties throughout the day, while they knew that they had done something terrible, but you didn't find out about it, so it didn't matter. You were so much more compassionate at that child who is beating themselves up over something that they had done that they feel so terrible about. And that's us. We come to the cross with absolutely nothing, and I can't make that more clearer. I can't say that any clearer. Salvation is of the Lord, lest any man shall boast. Nobody comes to the Father lest the Father draw him. You don't come there with gifts, with works, with nothing. You come there completely broken, naked. You don't have anything to offer, and that's true salvation. And I pray that you find that. I pray that God shows you that. I pray that this video helped you understand that. Throw it all away. Throw it all in the garbage and go to that quiet place. Matthew 6:5 and 6 is why I say that. Go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know, and you don't need to tell anybody. And take that step. Accept that cup. Accepting the cup is not a work. Like I said last video, it's just like me admitting that the sky is blue. I didn't make it blue. I didn't paint it blue. I didn't will it to be blue. It's blue. There's a lot of people that call it purple. But I accept the fact that it is blue. And that doesn't make me prideful in any kind of way, because I had no bearing on the fact that the sky is blue. The same thing with salvation. You have no bearing on it whatsoever. Accept the cup. You will not get to boast in heaven for anything. When you get there, your head's going to be down, just like that child that did something terrible, and you are going to be ashamed. And Jesus is going to come to you and says, you know, he can't see you. I've covered you. Stand up tall. Be proud. You made it. Well done, good and faithful servant. You're here, and that's the end of the story. That's just the beginning of your eternity, but that's the end of this what we went through to get there. So anyway, Repo Man 64, I think I've said everything. I could keep going on about salvation and the misunderstandings of true salvation, and the misunderstandings of what people consider. And I get it. Those are the comments really that hurt my heart the most. To get in there and they say, anybody who's accepted the Lord just kneel down and prayed, and then they accept. The sky is blue. Didn't make it blue. Accept the cup. That's what you can do, and it's humbling. It's like the difference between the child that is humble and feels horrible about what they've done, and the child that hides it. So we'll chat with you later. I could go on for hours, but I can't. We're out of time, so I want to get through to somebody, anybody. I want to get through to them, but I'm going to cut the video off here. We're looking. That horn blast could happen. Maybe it's going to happen here in a few seconds, but it's kind of waiting for me to finish the video. Nah, I didn't think so. I'm going to upload the video, and we'll chat with you later.